I was the first and so far only Chinese American ever elected to the Los Angeles City Council. This was from 1985 until 1993. While the district I represented around the Hollywood area of Los Angeles consisted of many different languages and dialect groups. For example, there were about 40 separate languages and dialects spoken by the people in that district. The Chinese American community played a very important role in my election because even though they were numerically a very small percentage of the voters in the district, Chinese Americans were a very important part of my early political base. That is, I got a lot of encouragement from the Chinese American community, and also, of course, volunteers and help with fundraising, because money is very important in running a political campaign. So if it had not been for the early support coming to me from the Chinese American community, I don't think I could have won the election. Of course, having support from the Chinese American community is not enough by itself to win an election because the numbers aren't large enough, but it's the early support, the fact that people from one's own ethnic community are willing to step forward with time, with money, and other ways of providing encouragement makes a huge difference, especially for someone running for office for the first time. Also, I think that it's very important for a Chinese American candidate to be able to persuade members of other ethnic backgrounds that someone of Chinese descent can represent them in a political context. I think that many Americans are very accustomed to thinking of Chinese Americans as being talented as engineers or scientists or doctors or nurses, but they are not as accustomed to thinking of Chinese Americans as leaders who can represent a broad, multi-ethnic constituency. And so especially for me, as someone running for the city council in the Hollywood area of Los Angeles, it was very important to try to show to people of many different ethnic backgrounds, whether Armenian, Jewish, Latino, African American, or the many other groups who made up the district, that I understood their needs, that I could do a good job of representing them, and that they could count on me if I were their elected representative. So that was also, I think, a very important transition in terms of educating voters to be able to see Chinese Americans as capable representatives of all ethnic groups.